This is your host, Tia. This is your host, Tia. Welcome back to another exciting episode of the Top 10 Live Geek Vibes Nation. Geek Vibes Nation. The Top 10. The Top 10. The Top 10.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another awesome episode of the Top 10 by Geek Vibes Nation. As always, I'm your host, Tia, and I have with me my amazing co-host, Brittany. How are you this morning?
Gonna say I'm amazing. I've already been trapped by the cats. I feel like I must always say that before we do a podcast, just because the cats are so obsessed whenever I get on the podcast, because I think they know that I'm going to be laying here for the next 2 hours, and they're like, yeah, buddy, you're ours now.
Yeah, I have Lady, the dog, obviously sitting right next to me. It's a must. Wherever I am, she must go. I was going to say that the other day I was taking a shower, and I got out, and I literally saw that she was just, like, sitting next to the door as if she was, like, guarding me. And I'm like, you don't need to guard me, lady. The cats aren't going to try and kill me while I'm in the shower. I mean, they may, but...
You ever get animals that seem like they want to get in the shower with you, but the moment you open the curtain slightly for them, they're like, ha, I'm out of here.
Lady does that all the time. I see her little, like, head poking, and I'm like, do you want to get in here? But I know that she doesn't, because anytime we give her a bath, she hates it.
She's like, I have been betrayed, mother.
In that voice as well. But yeah, so we are back for another top 10, and it is a pretty cool one that we haven't done ever, I don't think, but I'll let you know later actually what inspired me to suggest this. It is actually something that I am like 99% sure is going to end up on your list, but it is the top 10. It's the top 10 animated shows, because even though we're adults, we like to watch cartoons still, whether that is cartoons, you know, from our childhood, more adult cartoons, say like South Park, or even anime. I feel like no matter what age you are, you can still enjoy them. Like, my grandma sometimes is like, you still watch cartoons? And I'm like, shush, Grandma, I want to be a kid.
Oh my gosh,
again.
I honestly feel so attacked right now, Grandma.
But I thought it would be cool, and this, you know, it's just shows, not movies, but I thought it would be fun, and again, I, like, am 99% sure that I know one of them that's going to be on your list.
Oh no, I'm scared.
Well, if it doesn't end up, just know that I'm very, very, very disappointed.
Whoa, hey, listen here, buddy.
No, I kid. But, yeah, so that is our top 10. We should probably just hop along to it. But before we do, I always like to start the show off with a message from one of our friends of the podcast, and that is the guys behind Stranger Damies, which is affiliated with, say, They Call This a Movie. And you know, Brittany, I love that podcast. I talk about it all the time.
Oh, so you're obsessed with them. You're like the number one fangirl.
You know, it is. It's just really entertaining. And I feel like that sometimes. I'm like, am I being too much here?
No, we stand.
I was going to say, did you hear that for a second? All I heard was like, am I the only one who heard that? I was like, what the fuck is that?
I heard that too.
All right, it doesn't seem to be around anymore. The whole world has gone crazy. I won't even be surprised at this point.
I like how, you know, they're like ghost in the machine. It's ghost in the phone.
Yeah, exactly. Like, what the hell is that? You hear it, right? Now I hear it. We're just going to have to ignore it right now. The best. We're just going to have to ignore it the best that we can. But anyway, Stranger Damies is the ongoing... Yes, I did. I have no idea what the hell's going on.
That's creepy.
I thought that was
You guys
Aaron.
talking about me?
Who is that? Is it Ryan? Is Ryan on our show?
Yeah,
Why didn't I even get a notification for that? Ryan!
Yeah, it's me.
It's because I'm not working the boards at all right now, so I have no idea who gets, like, let in. Okay, well, for the first time in a really long time, we have Ryan joining us. How are you, Ryan?
Terrifying.
I know.
I'm the ghost of podcast past.
Apparently.
Ryan,
for you, man. Like, shit, it's been a long time.
It's been a hot minute. I lost the number to the podcast, and I'm like, oh, man, I don't know what the number is. So I had to search for like 5 minutes through the group chat to try to find the number. And I found the number, and then I hear you guys talking about ghosts on the phone. I'm like, okay, so this is how the world is going to start ending now. That's crazy.
It literally scared me. I was like, I don't know what this is, and I keep hearing, like, someone go to talk, and I was like,
no,
well,
that wasn't me, though. That wasn't me. I was on mute. That wasn't me. I was on mute most of the time, so you guys were actually hearing something.
What the hell? No.
That I'll confess to. That was not me. Brittany,
wow.
when you said, did I hear someone talk, that's when I spoke for the first time and unmuted myself. So you guys are hearing something.
Wow. All right, well, yeah, I don't know about all that. I have no Wi-Fi right now.
This world's going to hell in a handbasket.
I have no Wi-Fi right now, so Juwan is literally working the boards, like, wherever he is. So I'm just going to – it's crazy. But, all right, so we have Brittany and Ryan for our list today. Before we get into that, let's go through a message from a friend of the podcast. So Stranger Damies is the ongoing real play D&D podcast from the main Damie family of podcasts. Join them every Wednesday as the Wild Stallions traverse the many traps and tribulations that Dungeons & Dragons this edition has to throw in their path. There's elves, weird half-dragon people, conspiracy to uncover, and more references to the 1980s than Ready Player One. Subscribe to the podcast on all podcast services by searching Stranger Damies and follow them on Twitter and Instagram at Stranger Damies. Stranger Damies is also a proud member of Geek Vibes Nation. Of course, you can find us at geekvibesnation.com. So let's get into this now that we have a full panel today. Ryan, we're going to start with you since it's been a while. What is your number 10?
What's the top 10 real quick, actually? I don't know what the top 10 is. I joined right after you said it what it was. No, I didn't see your message. I didn't get it. Nah.
The top. It's all right. Ryan can think of shit on the fly. It's the top 10 animated shows. Do you want me to go to Brittany first?
Yeah, go to Brittany first. All
right, Brittany, start us off.
That's okay. We always have to start with the number one person. So I guess I'm already here. Wow.
Ooh, pulling the punches already.
Yeah, it's one of those kind of mornings. I am going to go with the anime Trigun, and I don't know if y'all ever watched it. You'll have to tell me first. Have any of y'all ever watched Trigun?
No.
Okay.
Trigun
is about basically you find this out later because you're trying to kind of understand it. So, of course, there's spoilers with this anime. But it's about, there was the ship, I can't remember what it's called, but basically they're looking for a new planet because something happened to Earth. And so the whole plan has been to try to find, like, everybody in the ship is, like, in stasis, and they were trying to find a new planet to settle. Well, a big accident happened, which is a big spoiler alert for later on, and it crashes on this very barren land where there's apparently oxygen, but there's not much of it's not very sustainable. So the whole thing, it's all about Vash the Stampede, which they call him that because there's a huge bounty on this guy because they say he killed an entire town. And so he has the highest bounty on him. So bounties, hunters are all over him. The cops are after him, and it's all like an old Western. Each of these little towns is looks like an old Western because, it's a very deserty kind of area. Well, so it centers around these two girls who are basically cops or detectives. I think they're detectives, and they're trying to find Vash the Stampede. Well, they find him, and he is a goofy, fun-loving, peaceful character, and nobody can understand how he's Vash the Stampede because that's the name he was given. But it's basically centers around him either helping these towns about people trying to catch him and him being such a fun-loving character, but you realize he is such a tragic character, which, do you want spoilers?
You can go. I'm
Yeah.
sorry, I had myself on mute. Go ahead.
I would say, well, it turns out that basically he's not completely human. Apparently they made him and his brother, who are basically artificial humans, and that his brother activated his arm, which apparently destroyed the whole town, and he has horrible, horrible guilt about it, and he never wanted to do it, and so he has to live with the guilt of it, and it's basically a story of him trying to get his brother, which his brother's name is Knives. Isn't that a 90s, early 2000s anime villain name? Knives. But it's such a good anime. It's so interesting. It's very like Cowboy Bebop in that feel of that old style with the tragic characters, kind of the goofiness, funniness, but it's off, it's made not so funny whenever you have these really depressing moments in it. But it's basically people having such a negative scene of him thinking he's the man that killed, an entire town, but really, he's such a peaceful character trying to save everyone. And I don't know, it was so good.
Yeah, I was going to ask, is this a new anime or an old anime?
Oh, it's old. I'll have to look up the date it was made. Let me give me 1 second. I remember watching it on Adult Swim when Adult Swim first started.
Wow!
So it's
that
old.
Yeah.
So it's old.
Well, the manga was made in 1995, and I'm trying to see whenever the actual the show was made in 1998.
Oh, that's old.
It's pretty
years.
old.
That's still pretty old.
Yeah, it's so good though. It still holds up, and I think that's the thing. It's kind of like other picks that will be on this list. That even the old ones really hold up because I love that style of drawing. Very reminiscent to, like I said, like Cowboy Bebop, to that kind of hand-drawn look, which I feel like we're starting to move away from, and that kind of sketchy look, but it was so good. It was so good. If anybody's looking for an anime to watch, I really suggest Trigun. I actually think it's on Netflix, or at least it used to be on Netflix.
Have you ever heard of it, Ryan?
No, I've never heard of it, which is really odd. I was one of those people where I'd specifically wait up till 1 a.m. in the morning, or 12 whenever, or 10 p.m. whenever Adult Swim would start. And dude, I thought Adult Swim was my jam for a good 4 years, and then I fell off. But that's weird that you said it, because I never noticed there was any anime on it. That's weird. I'm surprised I haven't ran into it out of 4 years of watching it from 10 p.m. to 3 a.m. every single night. What's that George Lopez show shit? God damn.
Oh my gosh, I was going to say Trigun. I remember me and my older brother would sneak up in the morning because we weren't allowed to watch Adult Swim, and we would watch Home Movies, Trigun, Stride, Full Metal Alchemist, and a couple others, and Trigun would come on with it.
Well, if anyone is looking for a older style anime, definitely check out Trigun. It gets apparently the Britney seal of approval. But great way to start out our top 10 anime show list Ryan, do you have a pick for number 9?
Okay, so I'm going to name a show. I've been speaking about this show for years. Now, I've had people who tell me it's not anime, and then I've had hardcore fans tell me it's anime. So I've always somewhat considered it anime. Maybe you guys can help me consider it or tell me what it is. If it's not anime, I'll switch my choice. But Yu-Gi-Oh! Would you guys consider that anime?
It's an animated show, but I would consider it anime because it did come out of. It is very. I'd consider it anime.
Why wouldn't
that's
it be
what I
considered
thought.
anime?
I think it was considered a manga first before it actually came.
I'm pretty sure it was on Chinese television before it came to the States, and then they kind of dubbed it ADR and brought it to America with no subtitles.
It was originally made in Japan. I would call it anime.
Japan, yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna go with Yu-Gi-Oh! As the number 9 spot. I know y'all didn't expect that. I know you guys missed my out of nowhere punches with my choices. But I don't know, Yu-Gi-Oh! Was my thing for all of middle school, just all of my childhood. Yu-Gi-Oh! Was awesome. I loved watching the show. I'm going to be honest, I don't remember too much of, the character names and stuff like that because the show's been off the air for God knows how long, and I haven't watched it since it's gone off the air. And I just remember watching Yu-Gi-Oh! And thinking, wow, this game is so cool. And the show was just cool because I started playing the game first, and then it made me think about watching the show. And then the show would do reruns on Cartoon Network every morning. And just the idea of using cards and stacking them on top of each other to kind of create a different it's more of a grittier version of Pokemon. That's how I've always liked to seen it. Pokemon is like the Japanese kind of child's play type of Yu-Gi-Oh! Anime, and then Yu-Gi-Oh! Is like adult version of Pokemon. It's really weird. But I've always really enjoyed the show. I really enjoyed the art style of the show. I mean, there's nothing really much to say about it other than it was a really cool idea. And it came out at a really cool time because it was at the time of Pokemon, Bakugan, all these other type of Japanese-inspired TV shows rerunning on Cartoon Network. And I still wish it was on because I'd probably still watch it. But it was a big part of my childhood, and I really like Yu-Gi-Oh! What about you guys?
I was obsessed with Yu-Gi-Oh!
I
Yu-Gi-Oh!
really
was
liked
awesome.
Yu-Gi-Oh! Yeah, I mean, I would definitely consider that an anime. And I remember it being on, as you said, Saturday morning, and watching it. Like you, I can't really remember any of their names, but I kind of liked how it had a lot to do with, say, also Egyptian mythology, because that was just always something that I was really into. And I remember you had, the one character that would, be good, but then, he could also turn bad, and then I thought that the main bad character was pretty interesting, and as you said, I liked that it was yeah, and I also liked that it was just cards. It wasn't with Pokemon, they were, real, real animals that they battled with. But with Yu-Gi-Oh! It's this card game where it's essentially a simulation, And I thought that was really cool. I really liked Yu-Gi-Oh! I thought that the whole mythology was really cool about it. But Brittany, you were saying that you were obsessed with it.
Every year, or for every event, whether it was my birthday, whether or not it was Christmas, or anything, I would beg for Yu-Gi-Oh! Cards. And I was obsessed with the anime. I used to have a toy. It was the pyramid, Yugi's, pyramid necklace he had. I had one of those, and I wore it around my neck all the time, obviously at home, because if I would have went to school with that, my parents would have disowned me. But I'm still upset because one time, you have to imagine all those cards I collected. I brought them to school with me, and 2 boys broke into my backpack and stole all of them. And then felt bad about it. So they were oh, yeah, we found some of your cards. They were over here, but it was all the shitty cards. not like some of my what was the one where you had to get the 5 cards to complete the body? I think I had like 2 of those. You know, my blue-eyed white dragon, I think was what it was called. I was so upset, but I was obsessed. And I think that ended my card collecting, though, because at that point when you lose everything, you're like, nothing even matters anymore.
Yeah, I definitely collected the Yu-Gi-Oh cards, not because I was, like, playing them or even because I particularly wanted, like, a specific Yu-Gi-Oh card. I was just like, oh, I really like these, and then I just put them in a binder and, like, forgot about them.
I know. They're probably somewhere.
They're definitely in my mom's house. I didn't bring them with me when I moved out.
I know. I have to wonder if I still had any anywhere.
You have to wonder if they're even, like, worth anything.
I know. I have to, I was trying to think. Sorry, I was distracted. Can anybody else hear that noise?
I can hear it, Ryan.
No.
Is it on your end? Like, what is that?
No, I've been muted this whole time.
I don't understand it.
What does
like,
it sound like?
What the hell is? It's like tick 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 tick. Like, what the hell is that?
I wonder if it's something wrong with the board.
Oh, if it's on Jawan's end, he's probably sleeping right now. Jawan, if you can hear us, there's something going on.
And
yeah,
it's weird that Ryan can't hear it, though.
Loco.
Oh, wait,
yeah,
it stopped.
I've been on mute this whole time listening to you guys.
It literally just stopped.
It just stopped.
Wait,
oh, no, it's coming back.
Tell me, wait. Okay, then it's definitely not me, even though I don't hear it.
I don't hear it right now.
I feel like when when they talk about
shit going on.
You know when they talk about Chinese water torture with the drip of water on the forehead? That was me just slowly going insane from hearing that tapping noise. I was sorry for that interjection, and I know Tia had messaged me over, but I was like, oh my God, I'm going to go crazy. I couldn't even concentrate to even send a message. I was like, I'm going to die.
I don't hear anything now. How's everyone doing?
We're good. We're golden. Hey, boy.
Okay, good. All right. Well,
quarantine's
Ryan,
doing crazy things to us.
It is. But Ryan, that's a great choice for number 9 for Yu-Gi-Oh. I'm gonna hit number 8. Ryan, because you came in a little later, I just want to let you know that it's not just anime. So like, feel free to, I didn't want you to think that you were boggled down by just anime. It's just like animated shows,
Oh, okay. Got it.
Yeah, just to let you know, because mine is not an anime, so I didn't want there to be any confusion. But my number 8 is one of my favorite shows to this day. Like, I can continue watching it, and I a lot of times end up watching it as I'm falling asleep, and it's going to be Bob's Burgers.
I love Bob's Burgers.
I know that this is so, not a serious, show, and it's, kooky or whatever, but I love Bob's Burgers. I'm obsessed. I remember when they first came out with Bob's Burgers, it's so funny. I remember I watched the first episode, when it first premiered on Fox, right? And I didn't like it. I was like, oh, this is really stupid. And then I think, one day I was on I know. And then one day I was on Hulu, and they had Bob's Burgers on it, and I had no idea what else to watch. So I put it on, and I'm like, I love this show. Just Bob and his family, the ridiculousness of it, the fact that everyone says that Linda reminds them of my mom. But
I know she does.
Just the whole thing, Tina and her her extreme puberty. I'm I kind of feel attacked with how accurate this is sometimes. Louise and Jean, the whole thing to me is just so utterly hilarious. I absolutely love Bob's Burgers so much. And there was like a good while where my boyfriend knew that I was like gonna fall asleep because I put on Bob's Burgers, because that was like my going to sleep show. But I absolutely loved it. And you know what's funny is like it is for the most part ridiculous, right? And it's hilarious. But then there's like some moments where it really like touches upon like some real life like serious shit. And I just appreciate it. I think it's honestly like one of the best anime shows that are out there, and I like it better than South Park. I like it better than American Dad. So yeah, my pick is going to be Bob's Burgers. Brittany, what do you think about that?
I love Bob's Burger, especially because having watched Archer and having that same voice actor, I was like, this is the best day of my life. But there's something, so, I get stressed out watching certain shows or movies, and for some reason Bob's Burger does not stress me out, because even if they have a bad issue come up that's emotional, kind of like Linda not being happy that, Louise doesn't really care for her more than her dad, it still always has a moment where it's funny, they teach a lesson, and everything's fine at the end. There's no depressing ending that they're never going to touch on again. Because I hate when shows do that, because, they never really touch back to a counterpoint, right? They never touch back to something else that really happened in most of those kind of shows. And for something like where they can end on a good note most of the time or offset it with funniness, I really appreciate, because nobody likes being depressed 24/7. I get enough of that on my own.
As you said, like, they have these moments where you really explore, like, certain things, but there's always, like, a payoff at the end. Like, there's that one episode where Tina, well, not Tina, you don't know that's Tina at first, but Bob keeps waking up and the turkey's in the toilet. And you find out that Bob is doing it because he's getting, like, anxious over Tina, like, growing up. And it's, like, little things like that. Or, like, there's this episode where, I don't know if you saw it, where, like, all of the people of the town go to Mr. Fishoder's house because they want to, like, oppose the rent hike that he's doing. And at some point at the end, they do, like, this massive water balloon thing, right, which is, like, so ridiculous. And at the end, like, Mr. Fishoder's like, oh, whoever, like, hits Bob, I'll take $100 off of your rent, and $100 will, go on to Bob's rent. And at first it's like, all of them are like, yeah, blah, blah. And Linda's like, all right, go ahead, do it then. Like, our rent will, skyrocket, and we'll have to move, and blah, blah, blah. And I don't know, it's like this really, like, endearing moment where she, like, kind of got everyone to come to their senses, pretty much. So I really like Bob's Burgers.
That's so depressing.
But, like, she, like, made everyone go, like, to their senses. So I really, God, I love Bob's Burgers. Ryan, do you watch Bob's Burgers at all?
Don't kill me, but I've actually never watched a single episode of
Bob's
Burgers.
Get out of here, bro.
No.
The most I've ever seen on Bob's Burger is a TV commercial.
Oh, no, you have to watch.
I feel personally attacked right now, Tia. I'm voting him off the island.
You and half of America feel offended right now, because I know everyone loves that show. And I don't get it because I've never watched it.
That's like saying you don't love America's Sweetheart.
What if I don't?
I don't even know who America's Sweetheart is right now.
Neither do I. Don't worry.
Tom
Let's just say it's about
But it's about,
no,
yeah.
we're not dragging
funny.
Tom Hanks into this. We're not dragging Tom Hanks into this. My guy. Like my father.
No, we love Tom Hanks. That's what I'm saying. He's America's sweetheart. Like, thank God he made the recovery.
No,
what did you say? What did you say, Ryan?
I didn't say anything.
Oh, okay. It's funny, Brittany, that you reminded me that the guy who plays Bob is the same guy who plays Archer. I almost forgot about that.
Yeah, that was all I remember too is that Archer had the issue that the name of their agency was always called Isis because it was named after the Greek god, not Greek goddess, Egyptian goddess. And
Roman?
And so
Egyptian, yeah, no.
then I remembered, like, everything came out with that. They had to change their name. They had to figure out a way to change it because they didn't want to be associated with that.
I thought that they made the decision that they were going to keep it because they're like, well, we were, here before, pretty much. I don't know, but
I know
the
they
episode?
changed it at least for a little bit, I think.
Do you remember the episode in Archer where he did like a Bob's Burger? Like he
yes.
Oh my god, that was hilarious. I was like, I kind of wanted them to do it like on the opposite end where Bob suddenly becomes like a secret agent and all that. And
oh
he's
my
like,
god,
whoa,
that would have been
what's going
perfect.
on? Oh man, but yeah, so I love Bob's Burgers. Like the one thing that sucks about not having Wi-Fi is that I can't go back and rewatch some frickin' Bob's Burgers. But yeah, and Brittany, you and I would definitely feel personally attacked by Bob's Burgers, considering Tina and her freaky friend fiction.
No, that's why I feel attacked. That's why I feel attacked. Because I'm thinking back to little 14-year-old me writing fan fiction, or the first time, like, very first
in one
trying
of
to
those
attempt
books too. In
trying to
Marvel
write
books
this much
too.
and having no experience with anything or having ever seen anything. So, like, you're trying to write it and it's super awkward, but at least it was never, like, about touching butts together, like an obsession with butts.
But then you would also be, like, super embarrassed if someone got a hold of it. Like, I remember, really quick interjection, I'm saying this because we're all friends here, but when I was in, like, 5th grade, I had one of those Marvel notebooks, and I was writing, like, Digimon fan fiction for some reason, and I remember, like, one of my classmates, like, saw the word Digimon on it, and, like, I was so afraid that they were going to be like, what are you writing? But instead it, like, sparked a debate of Pokemon versus Digimon, and I was like, oh, thank God.
I remember that about Transformers fan fiction. My mom was like, oh, I really like your story. You're doing really well. And I was like, what are you talking about? What are you talking about?
Like, did you read it?
Like, I was like, oh my God, no, you didn't. And because your brain can't even function over the compliments that your mother gave you and how she was supportive, all you can think is, oh no, my mother read it.
Yeah. Good times. But let's move on. Brittany, what is your number 7?
I'm like, there's so many. There's so many. Okay, I'm going to go with, I'm just going to go ahead and throw it out there. Actually, I know which one I'm going to do. I'm going to do Steven Universe. Because girl, how much I love Steven Universe. Ryan, have you seen Steven Universe?
No.
Boy! I'm voting him off the island.
Brittany, this is the show that I was talking about. Remember I said in the beginning, I was like, there is a show like that inspired this list because I was like, I'm 99% sure there's going to be this show. Yes, this is it. This is Steven's Universe.
Okay, I'm obsessed.
Tell us all why you love it.
Okay. First off, I'll give the plot. So there are the gems from the gem homeworld, who are these people that are like, they're like, basically they're not gendered, but they all take a female form is a big thing for them. Like, it's just basically a world ruled by women, and they're the crystal gems. And each of their gems, like the diamonds are obviously are the leaders. There was 4 of them. White diamond, who's the leader, blue diamond, yellow diamond, and pink diamond. And basically everyone's subservient to them, and it depends on, like, what gem that someone has. Like, a pearl is, like, a servant class, or amethyst are the soldiers, or the lapis lazuli they're like terraformers. They, like, control water. And so everybody has a different, ability or something that is unique to them because of what gym they are. Well, it turns out they can fuse, but you're only supposed to fuse with a gym of your same class. And it's basically, I think it's supposed to comment on, like, people being disgusted about, like, oh, if you're not the same, I'm trying to think of it without getting too political. Basically, it's almost like when you fuse, it's really intimate, so it's almost like either like a dance partner, or they kind of allude to, like, with lovers in that community, it's kind of like, oh, like sex, but you're not supposed to do it with a gem of a different kind. Like a pearl wouldn't do it with a diamond, and, a ruby isn't supposed to do it with a sapphire, right? Because this whole show touches on so many different things, like abusive relationships, depression, PTSD, and every episode normally has a lesson to it, but they do it in a kid-friendly way. Well, flash to it, there's Rose Quartz, who led this big rebellion against the home world, because when they go to a planet, they basically do like these kindergartens where they basically make all these gems and they suck the life out of these planets. Well, Rose Quartz decided she really loved Earth, and so she fought a rebellion against the diamonds and basically saved it and made the crystal gems, which is basically the rebellion group, where there was a pearl, a garnet, and amethyst. But she fell in love with a human, and whenever she got pregnant to bring that child into the world, she had to give up her gem, which basically she, like, died in a way. And so that's where you get Steven Universe, who has the gem, and he lives with the crystal gems. And it all starts off very fun-loving. It's really great. But you're going through the steps of, like, what happened, who really was Rose Quartz, because it really turns the storyline of, like, oh, the dead mother who was like a saint, but instead it does the reverse. The more you learn about Rose Quartz, the more you dislike her, until finally you understand. It's like seeing the story in reverse. Instead of like a bad person becoming good, you're seeing like why a bad person became good. It's like weird. It's like in reverse. But they touch on like the fusions, about how people are really discriminatory against it, like if you're with someone of a different gym class and all these different things. And I know I'm going on for this a while. I'm just trying to basically round it all up, that basically like you have Steven Universe Future, which because the show just ended and I cried like a big baby. But Steven, the main character, you think of all the things he's dealt with as a child, and, you know, he saved the universe, he did this, he did that. But in the later show, it's really depressing because he's dealing with horrible PTSD from it. Because you think of all these shows where there's like a child hero and they're dealing with all this stuff, but somehow they're still perfectly fine. But it's like with him going through puberty. And, you know, like a lot of us, you know, we didn't get depression until we were nearly adults. And now we're like, oh, well, I didn't have that as a kid, and him going through that. But it's really good. There's a lot of songs in it, and, you know, my ass loves musicals and shows that have music in it with really cute songs, as I've forced Tia to listen to a lot of them. But yeah, there's my long spiel about how much I love Steven Universe.
I was
That's
gonna,
really
wait.
dark.
So,
Holy shit.
wait, so Steven Universe ended?
It did.
Yeah,
it did. And like I cried like a big baby. I mean, it had a really good ending. Because, you know, in the end, spoiler alert, Steven gets a therapist. He gets, you know, he's fine.
That's the best ending he could ever get.
Oh, I know. But he basically says, you know, hey, I want to go explore the world, because I think now he's like 18, and he drives off, and it was good for him to finally, because he had been basically so sheltered by the gyms his entire life, that he said, you know, I just want to go off and I want to figure out where I want to live and all this stuff. And it was really touching, and it was him getting to say goodbye to everyone.
It's really dark for like a cartoon.
That's
Oh,
what
I know,
was thinking.
but
How
I
do you
think
make that into kid friendly?
Well, you know what's funny is I thought about it because when it started, you know, my little brother's 17, and he was obsessed with the show when he was little. And I think he was like 14 or 13 when he first started watching it, which I don't think he watched much of it, you know, through the ages. But a lot of these kids that started watching it around the time it came out were the same age as Steven, and then they were already becoming adults like 17, 18 by the time the show ended. I think it's almost like a love letter to those kids that grew up with it, that, you know, like, hey, take care of yourself. Hey, you should go do what you want and go find yourself. So I thought it was kind of sweet.
That is sweet. Yeah. I was going to say, Brittany literally does force me to watch, like, Steven Universe every single time we see each other. And she's always sending me, like, musical videos. She's like, just one more. Just one more.
One
like,
more?
I've never
Oh, my God.
Last time I was in New York, I made her sit down and watch them with me. And I went, wait, one more. And she was like, yeah, that's fine. And then it would end, and a suggested video would come up over another time. We'd be like, oh, my God, Tia, one more, please. And I was like, oh, my God, okay.
So I've never actually watched Steven Universe, but I feel like I know a lot of it just because Brittany forces me.
You're stuck with me.
Well, so Ryan,
It's a lot.
have you ever heard of Steven Universe and just never seen it, or is this like you didn't even like hear about this show?
I've heard of it, but when I mean I've heard of it, like I've literally just heard the name. I've not seen any promotional ads for it. I have no clue what the show was even about. And I know when it ended, a lot of people were crying about it. That's all I know about this show.
I cried like
Everyone
a
was
big
extremely
ass
sad.
baby.
Yeah, see, my point. I have no idea what this show is, but luckily Brittany decided to tell us the whole plot, so I don't need to watch it.
Yes, you needed to know.
You don't need to watch it
How am I
now.
supposed to tell you why it's so good if you don't even know what it's about?
You just told us it's about real life shit just turned into a child version, which sounds insane, but it's fine.
You're insane. In the membrane.
Brittany
You're
got
just
really
figuring this out
offended
now?
just there. She just got really offended there. Her favorite show is
cartoons
Attack.
take out the worst. Cartoons take the
Whoa.
worst out of people, man.
I'm offended.
Brittany's definitely
You
obsessed
should.
with Steven Universe, but it's okay, Brittany. Like, I remember when the show first came out and everyone was, like, really just shocked that because it seems like stuff that, like, they wouldn't get away with in cartoons. Like, people are so, like, stiff and so, whatchamacallit. I don't know how to really describe it, but, like, I guess maybe it's because mostly, like, older people, like teens and adults watch the cartoon as opposed to like kids, because I feel like the subject with it, as progressive as it is, you know that there's like a shit ton of stay-at-home moms that are like, I don't want my kid to watch this. It's about two women loving each other.
Yeah, I know. That was a big thing because they had two female characters. Well, you know, they're supposed to not have a gender, but female-oriented characters kissing in it, and people were like, what the fuck?
So I'm just surprised that there wasn't more of a backlash, but I know that you will forever love Steven Universe, and I have accepted it at this point. So absolutely, it deserves to be on the list because I had no doubt that you were going to put it on the list. But Ryan, what is your number 6?
All right, I'm gonna put one that I know we've all seen, so we can all really grasp it. But coming in
Shut
number
your
6
mouth.
has got to be Futurama. Futurama is way better than
Okay, I didn't like Futurama.
is way
You're
better
still
than
dead to me.
Steven. It's
Oh
better than
my
Steven
God.
Universe could ever be.
Get your boy!
I'm telling
I
you,
can't page him.
Futurama is the bong diggity. I love Futurama. Give or take, it didn't come out it came out like before I was born. but then they took like a 10-year hiatus for some reason, came back with another 2 seasons, and this show is hilarious. I love Futurama. I love the character Flip. If no one knows what it is, I'm sure you guys know what it is. A guy in 1999 named Fry, and his whole name is Philip. He's a pizza delivery guy, and he goes to deliver pizza at a scientist experiment laboratory. He accidentally falls into a cryogenic freezer or machine, whatever they call it. And then he wakes up in like the year 2032 or whatever year it is. And now he starts having sex with a one-eyed octopus woman. Crazy. I know. Who would have thought?
Woman.
And then he befriends a crazy old scientist man and a really stubborn robot.
Nephew.
And they have this one episode that breaks my heart. It's the episode when he tries to find his dog in the past.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it's the dog episode.
No.
You already know. I'm trying to remember what happened to his dog. The entire episode is seeing his dog waiting for him outside of his last pizza delivery where he gets stuck in the cryogenic freeze. And then the dog dies there. It's so upsetting. It's so sad. The whole show is about him pretty much just wanting to get his dog back and go back to the past. But I think it's created by the people that created Family Guy. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't remember. But I know that the people who created this created...
Simpsons.
That did what?
The Simpsons. It's Matt Groening.
Simpsons, that was it. Yeah, Simpsons. I knew they created another famous cartoon. But honestly, I really like the show. I wish it didn't have like a really weird release schedule almost because, like I said, the first 4 seasons were released within a matter of 2-3 years. And then they took like an 8 to 10 year hiatus and then released the final 2-3 seasons in like 2010. My uncle showed me this show when I was younger, and I was hooked on it. I think the animation's really good. I really like the intro theme song. It's quite catchy, and the whole idea of it was really well done. I felt like they could have done more with the show, but I don't know back then if it was because people weren't watching it, if people were just offended by it, because I know it was a little offensive for its time, but you also had South Park and Family Guy, which I didn't think was too big of a problem for Futurama. But there's many things that could have caused it to cancel. I wish it still went on, but I still think it's one of the better cartoon or animated TV shows out there.
All right, so Brittany, before I pass it to you, let me show my age. I'm 30. So I literally remember when Futurama first aired on TV, and I watched it because I was a fan of The Simpsons at the time, and it was like, oh, okay, here's a show by the same creators. I'll never forget, like, the first episode, literally, like, Fry walking in with Bender into a booth thinking he's going to make a phone call, and it's a fucking suicide, like, booth. And I was like, what the hell am I watching, you know? And,
I know.
and, you know, Fry's like, I'm going to, you know, be something. I'm not going to just be a delivery boy. And it's like, oh, well, you know, your job is already, like, planned out for you. You have to do this chip. And it's like, oh, okay, what am I supposed to be? A delivery boy. And it's like, no. And, like, so much about that show I loved. Ryan, we do not talk about the dog episode. Like, I erased that from my mind. But
we don't talk about it.
We don't talk about it. But, like, so many things like Zoidberg, you know, and his thing, and then you had Amy and Zach Brannigan. Like,
Zach
you know,
Brannigan is amazing.
It was so oh my God, a Star Trek like reference, right? Like, you know, Captain
Oh my
Kirk,
God, like
you know,
every
Zach
episode
Brannigan.
had one.
Yeah. But I loved, like, Fry. And there were some really great episodes. Like, I loved the one where Fry gave up his hands to, like, the devil robot so that he could, you know, play, like, really good music for Layla. When Bender and Fry become roommates, and it's like he's in this tiny-ass little box, and then suddenly it's like, wait, you have this big-ass, like, room, and Bender's like, you want to live in the closet? And it's like, yeah, do you see the closet? I loved Futurama. it was one of those shows where, like, it was, like, 95% ridiculous and then had episodes like the dog episode. But then also, remember the episode where, like, Fry goes to, like, the future or, like, an alternate dimension, and Layla is with a guy, but you find out that guy used to be Fry and shit like that. I was like, what the hell is going on? So it had some really poignant episodes as well. But, yeah, Futurama I thought was, like, better than The Simpsons. Brittany, what do you think about Futurama?
I love Futurama, but as the same, the dog episode makes me cry every time because it didn't have a happy ending. Just the dog sitting there forever until it died because it was so faithfully waiting for him. And then freaking Bender ruined everything. But, you know, it was a feel about, you know, true friendship, yada, yada, even though Bender's the worst. I don't know. I really liked it because it did have good serious moments. I'm glad you bring up the one about the devil robot.
I love that episode.
Robot devil. That's what he called, robot devil. Because when he gets the hands in it, immediately tries to strangle himself. And he's like, oh, wait, you know, old habits, it'll fix itself. I was like, oh, my God. Evilness. But I remember watching it for the first time and going, I don't know what this is, but I love it.
Well, I love the episode where Fry, like, goes to see the moon finally, and they go to this, like, amusement park, and it's so not, like, the real, like everyone else is like, oh, this is how they discovered the moon, and Fry's like, this is not at all, like, how it was. Like, get your shit right or something. Like, or then you had the episode where there was, like, a planet full of robots, and, like, Bender had to, like, simulate pretty much. I mean, Bender was the worst, but he was also the best. Like, he's fucking a cigar-smoking, alcohol-drinking robot that, like, just has sex with all of the female robots all the time.
I love Joe DiMaggio, too.
Oh, yeah. The whole shit was, like, great.
I'm going to say, well, it's like, he's done Jake the Dog, he did the Joker, and the Red Hood, I think. I'm trying to think who else he's voiced, but he's just way too good.
Yeah. I definitely love Futurama. This is a really good pick, Ryan, just because I didn't realize that it had so few seasons. I felt like it was pretty long-lasting.
Well, they tried to end it twice because it kept getting canceled and then renewed.
I'm pretty sure like Hulu or like a streaming service back in like 2010 or some big network picked it up for like 2 more seasons and then they canceled it again.
Which is pretty insane that like Futurama couldn't make it, but Simpsons like just seems like it's never going to end ever.
Oh no, I felt like Futurama was a little ahead of its time back in like the late 90s and then early 2010s. I don't think people were ready for that yet.
No, I have to agree is that I don't think that they were, because I feel like if that show had come out, say now, it would be a little bit more successful. But I think I always, like, I stopped watching The Simpsons a long time ago, but I liked watching Futurama. And as you said, the theme song was like the catchiest shit ever.
I remember that I wasn't allowed to watch The Simpsons growing up, and then I was so confused whenever I would go to have book fairs at the school, and there would be like Bart Simpson themed stuff, and I was like, he's a horrible kid, you know, because my naive brain, I was like, who hates school? Why are we selling this?
Oh my god. I feel like Bart Simpson was like one of those iconic pop culture things. Did you see, you know, because they were obviously owned by Fox, and now that Disney owns everyone's ass, they had like this little like commercial for Disney Plus to show that the Simpsons are on it, and you had Bart, he's like, I don't want to do it, no matter how much they pay me, and Homer's like, you're going to wear that costume whether you like it or not. And they were like, promo. But, yeah, Ryan, great pick with Futurama. I'm going to get the number 5. Okay, I'm gonna do an anime, and it's like the best anime ever, in my opinion. Like, all right, Brittany knows me, right? I'm like a fucking like relic or something. I don't play video games anymore. Like, my video games stopped, my anime stopped like 10 plus years ago. So to me, Dragon Ball Z is still the best anime of all time.
Oh, that's a good one. I didn't even think about that.
I love the animation style. I loved the sagas. Like, to me, Dragon Ball Z was something that I was utterly obsessed with. Like, I literally own all of the Dragon Ball Z sagas on DVD. I freaking played the video games. Like, I loved it. And for those out there who are as old as I am and remember Toonami, I don't know if you guys remember, but there was a time where when it was in the Frieza saga and Goku was going up against Frieza and he was still charging up and you were expecting him to defeat Frieza, and then suddenly Toonami would decide, we're going to go back to the first episode of the show and just replay everything.
They would start over.
They would start over from the very beginning. Like, you're sitting there and you're like, I'm so ready to finally see Goku take down Frieza. And it's like, nah, you want to see the first episode where Raditz gets to Earth and fuck shit up. And it's like, I mean, I kind of am, but I kind of also wanted to see what the hell went on. So I absolutely love this show. Like, I was just obsessed with it. I still think, like, and granted, I don't watch anime now, but I'm not really a big fan of, like, the anime style today. I just love, first of all right, this is my thing, right? Like, you see in animes, right, all of, like, the characters, especially the boys, are so thin and, like, lanky looking, and, like, you're supposed to tell me that they're taking down bad guys, and DBZ was like, no, we're going to put even more muscles on top of muscles. They're going to get bigger, and it's like,
their
oh my
abs
God.
have abs. They have a 20 million pack.
Yeah, exactly. So I just love the whole, like, Goku finding out that he's from, another planet, because if you watch Dragon Ball, it's like, that was never explored. It was just like, oh, this weird kid with a tail, who's really strong. But we never got into that. And it's like you have Vegeta who feels, so scorned because he's supposed to be like the rightful heir. And he never, Goku turns Super Saiyan before he does. And, and me personally, before I pass it to you, Brittany, I'm sorry. But to me, my favorite sagas were the Android saga and the Cell saga. I loved the introduction of the androids. I loved Cell. To me, those are like the best. And then the movies too. The movies were good, but obviously this isn't a movie show. This is a TV show. But yeah, God, I get like so giddy even talking about, like, the best thing was like Trunks. Like when he first came on, you're like, who is this guy? And he's like, oh, he's from the future, to tell everyone that shit is fucked up. And he's really Bulma and Vegeta's kid, which at the time Bulma's with Yamcha. And you're like, what? Which I'm like apologist. But yeah, so I can ramble on for days and days and days. But Dragon Ball Z is the best anime of all time. But Brittany, go ahead.
I was going to say, I remember talking about, like, restarting. I don't know if y'all remember, because I don't know if it was different. But did y'all ever go, okay, it would restart, right, the whole time with, like, the Frieza saga? And it would restart, and it would restart. And then remember when they suddenly started playing Dragon Ball, which I didn't know at the time had came before, actually aired before Dragon Ball Z, right? And
right.
I had
a
moment.
A prequel.
Yeah, I was like, I sat there, and I remember one time it restarted, but it restarted with Dragon Ball, and I went, oh my God, how far did we restart? Like, I was like, who is this kid? And I was like, oh, it's little Goku. And I was so confused. I was so panicked. I was like, they really went really far this time. But I was so scared. I was so confused. But Cell Saga is the best. I remember That's like, okay, my fiance has freaking Gohan tattooed on his arm, like half of his arm, because he really just loves Gohan. Like when he goes Super Saiyan 2 for the first time, when you knew that shit was about to get real and that he got a little bit cockier, and you're like, oh no, this is what's happening. I don't know. I love it. I love it. Dragon Ball Super was good, but I still miss the drawing of Dragon Ball Z, which I don't know. It was so much more detailed.
Yeah, to me, Dragon Ball Z was the best animation. Like, I wasn't the biggest fan of the Majin Buu saga, but I didn't hate it per se. I thought that was fine. We don't talk about GT. That just that is not canon at all, and that animation also sucks. But I never watched Super because to me I'm and I'm not against it or anything. It's just to me my watching okay, it ends with BBC. You know how when things are so good and you enjoy it so much that it's I don't need any more. It was good. I don't need it to continue, so I just liked it as is. But yeah, I love Dragon Ball Z. Ryan, did you ever watch Dragon Ball Z?
All right, funny story time for you. So
okay.
when I was younger, my first taste of Dragon Ball Z was the live action movie. Yes.
Oh,
before you guys say anything.
Oh, Evolution.
Before you guys say anything. Yeah, Evolution, the really shitty one. So when I saw that movie, I remember saying in my head when I was 10 years old, why the fuck would anybody like this? That's what I said in my head at 10 years old. This is awful. So I went a few years without watching it, and then in high school, people kept egging on me to be like, yo, Ryan, watch Dragon Ball Z. So I watched a few episodes, and I still couldn't get into it. So I've watched a few episodes here and there, but I'm not really the biggest fan of it. I don't get all the hype around it. Maybe you guys can help fill me in on the big hype, even though you just filled me in all a lot. But yeah, that's my experience with Dragon Ball Z. Watched a few episodes here. I played some of the video games, and I've watched the really shitty 2008 movie.
I mean, I never watched the live action movie because just the posters alone looked absolutely horrific.
You need to watch it.
No. Don't subject that to her.
It's so awful that it has to be watched.
I watched Toonami, and I just remember watching Dragon Ball Z, and I think I didn't watch it from the beginning. I want to say that when I started, it probably was in the middle of the Frieza saga. So it's I already kind of got a glimpse of what where the story went, right? So by the time it went back to restart, I was oh, okay, at least I know where it's going. So it wasn't one of those things where I first started and I'm what the hell is going on? It's I kind of then already knew. And then when you watch Dragon Ball, it gives you a lot of insight because there's a lot of if you never watched Dragon Ball, right? There are a good amount of moments in Dragon Ball Z where characters pop up, and it's you're supposed to know who they are, but you don't. But then if you watch Dragon Ball, you're oh, this person is from Dragon Ball. It's a callback. I will say that the one thing, and Brittany, you can kind of, I would hope, attest to it. The one frustrating thing about Dragon Ball Z was that there were a lot of filler episodes.
Oh yeah, there definitely was, but they somehow were still enjoyable.
They were still enjoyable, but I'll tell you, the garlic episodes, I didn't particularly mind. I didn't particularly like those. I don't know. But I still love Dragon Ball Z. To this day, I would definitely, take out one of the DVDs and pop it in if I had a working Xbox and watch it. No, it's okay. I can put it in the PS3. I can watch it still.
Oh, my God.
Ew, PS3? Ugh.
Okay, Ryan, my Xbox One crapped out and doesn't work. So, I have to resort to using the PS3. Always using the PS4 in the bedroom. I don't want to move it. We're PlayStation
I don't
people
blame you.
here.
I wouldn't want to move it either.
freaking my PlayStations have never crapped out, but what has crapped out? The Xbox. That's right, I'm saying it on
Oh,
air.
man, savage.
Bro, my Xbox has never crapped out. You just got an unlucky one.
Apparently, but I feel like every Xbox is an unlucky Xbox. No, I'm joking. We used to have the original Xbox and then the Xbox 360, and then Paulie gave them away. And I'm like, I don't know, it's kind of cool that we had the original Xbox. Like, no one has the original Xbox, and now we don't either. But it's okay, we're PlayStation people.
Oh, that was so depressing. Your voice, aw, Tia.
You sounded so
play video
sad.
games.
I mean, I was sad for you, but holy shit.
I literally just used that. Like, Jawan got so offended because he, like, saw my post about Xbox, and I was saying to him, I was like, oh, well, you know, I only ever use the Xbox One for, you know, watching, like, Netflix and shit. And he was like, that's blasphemous.
That's the one.
I'm offended now, too. Xbox is way better, man. That's crazy.
I disagree, but that's okay. But I'm just sitting over here with my PC master race, so, you know, y'all can squabble over your console wars, you peasants.
Oh, God, Brittany's one of those, like, she's a Twitch streamer, so she thinks she's automatically better than everyone with her PC.
Oh, whatever.
Nah, Brittany, you have to stream on Mixer. That's where it's at. Twitch is dying.
Whatever. Oh, my God. We're not having this conversation. I'm going to say the outreach on Mixer is so much different, and it's all mostly through Xbox anyways. I would much rather get big through Twitch than get big through Mixer.
Rather be on my PC. You snobby PC people.
No, I said on Twitch. On Twitch, the Mixer.
Twitch people, high standards.
Now, if I ever got
Twitch
to the point where
high
Mixer was like, hey, yo, we'll pay you $1 million to come over here, I might consider it.
Okay, Ninja.
$1 million?
Oh, Ninja doesn't get near the outreach that he used to, though. And neither does Shroud.
Well,
right,
they're money hungry. They're money hungry.
Okay, Tia, quick thing. So Twitch is like OG, like it was the like gamer streaming service, right? Well, Mixer came into the party. But the thing is that since Mixer was new, which it's mostly owned through Microsoft, I believe.
Microsoft.
Yeah, and so what ended up happening, which me and Ryan are just teasing, but what it is through Mixer, since they were new and upcoming, they started buying off a lot of the big Twitch streamers that they wanted an exclusive deal with them, and they paid them a few million to come over to their streaming platform and only stream exclusively through them. And so Ninja, who was the number one male streamer or number one streamer at all on Twitch, ended up moving, and so did a guy named Shroud, who both of them were big competitive shooting game type streamers, and they were huge. Well, there's been a lot of infighting because there's like a big, like, the Twitch versus Mixer war is just as big as like PlayStation versus Xbox in a way, like in the streaming community. And so, but the thing is that Twitch wasn't being defensive with, they weren't paying exclusivity deals with their streamers to be able to stay there. Now they're starting to, because they realized Mixer was starting to buy up a lot of their huge people. Like Pokimane decided to stay on Twitch, who's the number one female streamer. Dr. Disrespect, who I think is now the number one male streamer on Twitch, has signed, but Twitch doesn't pay as much as Mixer, but Mixer's more willing to go up in the price because they know these big people are what's going to make them. But a lot of new streamers are going to Mixer because since it is like a beginning platform, it's a lot easier to grow in a way. You're not going to get near as much viewers that way, but it's a lot easier to get your name out there because it's kind of like, imagine if like a YouTube competitor came out, everybody would flood it because they would want to get into it early on before it blew up. So that's like the big thing right now. So there you're caught up, Tia. You're caught up.
I would say my only thing, right, is there's always going to be a new, platform. It's like we all thought MySpace was the shit back in the day, and then Facebook came out, and people, kind of get on Tom, who is, was the creator of MySpace, for kind of, stepping back from MySpace, and he put out a tweet where he was like, "Yeah, and I got millions of dollars for that shit." So he's laughing all the way to the bank. But yeah. So going back to the list, Dragon Ball Z number 5. Brittany, you're up at number 4.
Let me see. Does that put, if I'm at number 4, 3, 2, that puts me at the number 1 spot, right? Or is it going to switch around?
No, it's going to be you at number 1.
Okay, then I'm trying to think and look of what I want. Okay, I'm going to go with Avatar, The Last Airbender. Did either of y'all ever watch it?
Yes.
No.
Oh, okay. You know what? Never mind. We're voting Tia off the island now. You know what? Better yet, I'm going to have my own...
Did I not
I'm going to have my own island with blackjack and
hookers.
hookers.
Did I not tell you that my freaking anime watching ended like 10 or more years ago?
Tia! Jesus
Go ahead,
Christ.
Ryan's seen it.
Okay. So basically, I'll give the quick thing. So there's 4 nations: the blah blah blah, the Fire Nation,
Earth,
the Water Nation.
Fire.
I'm going through it. I'm just joking.
You're taking too long.
There's fire, air, water, and earth.
She's from
right?
the South.
Shut your mouth.
You got it.
Okay, so there's 4 nations. There's 4 nations. And sometimes people in these nations get born with the ability to bend that element, which means being able to use it, fight it, and control it. And that all changed when the Fire Nation attacked, which the Fire Nation, they get a lot of their power from being angry. They're basically like the Super Saiyans. Well, basically every generation or whatever, there is the Avatar who can control all the elements. He will master all of them because people can only learn one, right? They can only be born with the ability for one. Basically, when the Fire Nation attacked, they knew that the last Airbender was born to the Air Nation, so they killed everybody off in the hopes of getting him and making sure he was dead or captured so that he couldn't fight back at them. And the whole plot is him trying to master the other elements and then trying to make sure that the Fire Nation isn't controlling the world anymore. The end. Thanks, Ryan, for making me rush, you dirty hooker.
You're welcome. You are welcome.
Bruh, I'm sorry that I don't explain something in 5 seconds.
It's fine.
I can picture Brittany getting so mad on the other end right now. She's gonna just be sitting there like fighting through angry tears.
No, what's funny is I'm actually just in the bed, right, with the blanket over me, and every word I was just rolling rapidly under the blanket, but like in a teasing way, like a child throwing a tantrum. I'm just like furiously rolling. This is what Ryan does to me. There you go. Hello? Hello?
Can
you hear me now?
Can you guys hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, I can hear you. I don't know what happened.
That's very odd. I don't.
Everything like crashed.
I do not know.
What the hell? Did that happen
Maybe
to you guys
Jawan
too,
heard
or
us
just
fighting,
me?
and he was like, "We're ending it now."
Yeah,
Children.
Like, I can't deal with this anymore.
See, this is what I'm
That's
saying.
so
the
funny.
Top 10 is cursed. This happens all the time. All right, I don't know if, Ryan, you had heard me, but before I got viciously kicked off of this shit, I was asking you what you thought of Avatar: The Last Airbender.
So Avatar was like my first like cartoon anime type show. So I was with it. And I'm not going to lie, I was kind of with a live action movie when it first came out. And then I started paying attention to film more, and then I realized it was pretty shit. So, without that, nothing further less to do, bro, Avatar is pretty bomb. I'm kind of shocked that you've never seen it. And The Last Airbender, bro, he can work his way around anything. And then you've got the brother and sister. I always forget their names for some reason. But my main man, Zuko, he know where it at with that spicy zest in his hands and the Fire Nation.
It's Sokka and
Asaka and they have really
it starts with
weird
a
names.
K.
It starts with a K, yeah.
No, that's the
Kai?
new Avatar.
Anyway, they all got really weird ass names, so don't blame me for forgetting them. But this show, I love it. I don't know what it was about having someone be like that type of child, like the Fifth Element type of child, where you're that special and everyone wants to kind of kill you because they know that you can defeat them. And if I remember correctly, in the beginning of the show, when the Fire Nation went to kill the Air Nation to kill the Airbender, and I don't remember if he accidentally fell into ice and froze him and his giant wildebeest animal, or if they intentionally did that, and then the siblings found him. But anyway, I really like the show. I like Zuko's arc the most out of most of the characters. Tia, if you don't know who Zuko is,
No, I don't.
Or the Emperor, or that's his grandfather. But he is one of the higher up children, and he really wants to kill Aang, who's the last Airbender, to show that he's worthy to be at the top and to lead the Fire Nation to rule the world. And throughout I think it was 4 or 5 seasons the whole show had as a whole, during the 4 or 5 seasons, he goes from hating Aang to, at the end,
Ryan, you're going in
honestly,
and out here.
I'm excited for the Netflix live action show. I can't wait for it to come out.
There's supposed to be a Netflix live action show?
Yeah, it was announced like a year and a half ago. And I
Brittany,
can't
did
wait.
you know about that?
I think I heard something about it, but I didn't quite hear about it. I think definitely, like, I hated the movie, so I'm really happy that maybe they'll get the time to actually go back, because I was obsessed because that they, airbending, firebending, all that, it touches on a real martial arts style. And so I think to be able to see that in live action and them kind of be able to go further in on it and watch those moves actually happen would be really awesome. And especially with Netflix, because I haven't had much of a reason to be on Netflix lately, except everybody keeps talking about, what's it called, The Tiger King? Or what is it?
You have to watch Tiger King. It is the most entertaining shit ever.
Somebody said, that moment when a hitman doing something because, you don't even remember it because so much other crazy shit happened that it just feels like a blip. And I was like, what? I'm pretty sure a hitman in something wouldn't be like a momentary thing.
No, it is. It totally is. Tiger King is fucking hilarious. Oh, God, Brittany, you have off today. It's 6 episodes. It is the most wildest crap I've ever seen. Put it on. You will not regret it. That shit was insane.
I may have to do that. I just might.
It's all about this crazy fucker who literally owned a bunch of tigers and lions in the middle of Oklahoma, and just the whole, oh God, no, we can't even get into it, all right? You have to watch it. I'm going to send you
I would say
the trailer
Oklahoma's
later.
so close.
Well, they were definitely what some, not me, of course, but who some would refer to as hillbillies and rednecks.
I would say
not me, of course.
Not me. Constantly calls me a redneck and a hillbilly every chance she gets. Okay, I see you.
But yeah, you need to watch it. You have time today, okay? But yeah, great pick with Avatar. Ryan, you got the number 3 spot.
Okay, so it's got to be Pokemon. I'm sorry, but we all have seen Pokemon. Pokemon is the epitome of everyone's childhood, and if you say it's not, then you're wrong. You're instantly wrong. I'm sorry, but there's never one thing anyone's wrong about except this. Pokemon is most people's childhood. It was my childhood. Everyone loved Ash. Everyone loved Pikachu. Pikachu was my main man. I can't tell you how many times in school I would go into like Toys R Us or Best Buy and go for Pokemon cards to try and beat some asshole in middle school because he kept pulling his little Squirtle move on me and kept fucking me over. Not the point, but Pokemon was awesome. Ash, Brock, and I always forget the girl's name because I'm horrible with names. But they were awesome.
Ash
Pikachu
is kind of the
was
girl's
awesome. And then I always knew Ash was played by a girl. That shouldn't really say anything, but like, yeah, you didn't know Ash was played by a girl?
I mean, I should have guessed that because, like, the Rugrats and everything, and even Bart Simpson is played by a girl, but I guess it just never
was played by a girl.
Most male, like, cartoon characters are played by females, which I came to find out very late in my life. But, like, I don't know, Pokemon has, like, such a part of me. I played all the earlier games. I don't play much of them now, but I played the card game when it was, like, in its prime. I watched the TV show, like, every Saturday morning. I don't know. It's just, like, it's such a childhood thing for me to reminisce about. I love it so much. It had so many things going for it. It had the fantasy element. It had the battle element, but it also had that message of what friendship really means and a bond between a human and a pet. I don't know. The show itself had so many meaningful messages that I didn't get back then that I did still resonate with. But as I started getting older and started realizing it more and more, I started realizing that this show really helps prepare kids for the real world in, like, this really fantasy world. So I really like the show, and it's just a pretty baller show, honestly.
I think
that's the most sincere thing that's ever came out of Ryan's mouth.
No, I like it. As he was saying it, I was like, you know what? Ryan is being really poignant right now. Like, he definitely is saying some good shit, but I feel like, I feel like being born in 1990, I saw the Pokemon boom firsthand. Everyone in my class was obsessed with Pokemon. I watched the original anime, which the girl's name was Misty. And yeah, I love the whole adventure aspect of it, going to the different towns with the different gyms. I'm sorry, were you going to say something, Ryan?
No. I just said, that was her name, Misty. I couldn't remember it.
Yeah.
Do you remember that commercial? Like, with all the Pokemon getting in the bus, and it got compressed by Striver, and at the end it was like a Game Boy laying there with Pokemon on the screen. That disturbed me so much as a child. I was like, oh my god, they killed them.
I really wanted a Pokédex when I was a kid, so badly. And I loved the whole thing. I played, so my cousin had the original Game Boy, not the Game Boy Color, but the original one that's was bigger and gray and everything. And I can't remember if Pokemon came out for that one, but it definitely came out on the Game Boy Color, and I played it. I had the red, I had the blue. I can't remember if I had the silver and gold, but I definitely had the red and the blue. And I love that shit.
I grew up with Pokemon Yellow, where you had Pikachu following you around, because I was born in 1994.
Well, I hated that when it's you were always afraid to go into the bushes because it's you're just trying to chill, and then it's all it's okay, and then it was the most terrible Pokemon. You're like, how can I ever get good Pokemon here?
What do you mean I'm not, like, running into a million Rattatas? I mean, it's the best.
That's what I'm saying. But I love the anime. Like, I was just talking about this yesterday because Polly was looking at clips from Detective Pikachu. And I was like, oh, remember in the original, I was like with, Rocket Power and Meowth and all of that. Like, and then we were talking
Team
about,
Rocket?
like, Team Rocket, yeah, I don't know what's right. But Team Rocket.
You said Rocket Power, that was a TV show.
I know. Well, it's been a while, I'm sorry. But, so as good as the original anime of Pokemon was, to me, I love the movie with Mewtwo when they all start fighting their clones, and then they all get really, like, emotionally exhausted, and you see, like, isn't it Pikachu or Raichu, and they're, like so weakly slapping each other and shit.
It was the Pikachu and the other Pikachu, and it's singing, like, my brother. Yeah, but, like, I had the soundtrack. I loved Pokemon. Ryan is right. Like, Pokemon is something that everyone, like, knows. It doesn't matter, like, how old you are or anything. Like, I'm still making parlor beads of them because I freaking love Pokemon so much.
But this is blasphemous because I like Digimon better than Pokemon. I'm sorry, I'm just going to say it right now, okay? So it's on air. But I definitely watched Pokemon. And really quick before I transferred over to Brittany, and I was just talking about this, when I was in 4th grade, because I went to Catholic school, right? So when I was in 4th grade, we had this really strict teacher, and she hated that, like, Pokemon cards were such a thing, and people were, like, playing with it in the middle of class, that she would confiscate your Pokemon cards and say that she wasn't going to give them back to you until the end of the school year. And when the end of the school year came, and I never got mine confiscated because I didn't bring them to school, but it's like kids would be like, oh, where's my Pokemon cards? And she'd be like, oh, I lost them. And there was always a rumor that she, like, shredded them instead. So, yeah, Pokemon.
Oh, my God.
Pokemon was just so much more than an anime, so much more than a card game. It was, like, a really crazy. And then I told you, Brittany, that I had that one Pokemon, like, Pikachu alarm clock that literally was so loud that my parents got rid of it because it woke them up in, like, the other room. They were like, no, you're not having this. That shit could wake up you, Brittany. That's how loud it was. But,
I'm going to say, maybe that's what I need. I just now have that new alarm clock that it wakes me up so hard that the cats go running.
But so I only watched the original, like, Pokemon, but Brittany, do you, like, keep up with the new ones? Because I know they have, like, so much more Pokemon than they did when I first, like, back when I first watched it was like Mew was the big thing, and then, like, the little, like, egg looking one, but now it's like
Togepi.
There's so many. Yeah, there's so many now.
I freaking love Pokemon, but that is the hard thing is, like, they call them Gen 1ers, the people that are only obsessed with Gen 1 and they don't really accept the Pokemon that came afterwards, because there is a shadoodle ton of them now, because you started out with 151, I think, including Mew, and Mewtwo, I think, made 151, and now there's, like, 800 or something. That's why I like that's why a lot of the Pokemon I've been making on my art thing, I've been making just, like, either Gen 1 or, like, right afterwards, or, like, but not the most recent, which I feel a little sad about, but because I love Mudkip, Cyndaquil, and Totodile, and all those other ones, but I don't keep up with the newer shows, but apparently there was a big leak about one of the new series I think they're making, or a movie. The leak was that there's going to be a new movie or show, but it's like Ash all grown up and his children becoming trainers, which is interesting because everybody always says, and they're like, Ash has stayed 11 or 12 for a really long time now.
I think, but I really like the Vaporeons. Yeah, I'm not going to say them right, but, they were like, oh, God, there was a water one. There was, like, an electric one.
Vaporeon,
No.
Jolteon, Flareon,
Yeah.
Eevee.
Yeah, I love them. They were so cute. But no, I think that would be kind of cool if that was like a thing. I would watch that even. That's what I liked about like the second season of Digimon. Like, it didn't just focus on the same people. It was like them older, and then it like had the newer people, and so it's like that would be kind of cool. I think so for Pokemon. But yeah, Ryan's right. Everyone and their mother has freaking seen Pokemon. Like, it doesn't matter whether
in
you're
the words of our parents, Pokemon.
Pokemon. I think my parents are definitely in that, like, I don't see what the big deal is, and it's like, it's a big deal.
It's a huge deal.
It's a huge deal. But great pick, Ryan. I'm gonna hit the number 2, and I'm gonna choose a cartoon that I definitely know that you guys have watched. It's like Pokemon, that everyone has to have seen it, okay? And it is Batman the Animated Series, because
it's so good.
I'm pretty sure that we all grew up on Batman the Animated Series. Like, I first discovered my love for Batman and for superheroes from the animated series. I mean, there's so much we can say about it, and we all love it. It was the best style, the best voice actors, the best stories. Like, you know, Batman was great. The Joker was great. It was our introduction. Harley Quinn didn't originate in a comic book. She originated in Batman the Animated Series. I discovered so much of what I know is from this show, and there were so many great episodes. I loved Two-Face, Poison Ivy. My love for Scarecrow came from this freaking show. It was amazing. Like, to me, it was a staple. And at the time, there was plenty of animated series, right? They had a Superman animated series. They had the Justice League. And
Superman.
All those were good. To me, Batman the Animated Series was, like, superior. Like, I couldn't ever stop watching that show. All right, again, showing my age here. I would literally record hours of it on a VHS tape. Like, at my parents, I have so many VHS tapes where I literally went in and, like, each one has a piece of paper, and it says the time that a new episode starts and what episode it is. Like, I did that shit. I made sure to record them every single time they came on, or if I was, like, you know, going out on the weekends, and it's like, no, it's on. It's like, okay, I'll just record it, you know? Like, that was me. I loved it. And before I pass it along, my favorite episode of all time from Batman the Animated Series is freaking the one where Batman gets trapped in Arkham Asylum, and the Joker and all of them put him on trial. My favorite, hands down. But, Ryan, what do you think about Batman the Animated Series? You had to have seen it, right? I'm not, like, going crazy here.
I've seen it. So
okay.
The only thing is, I didn't watch it when it was on the air. I started watching it when they released all the DVDs of the TV show. Me and my uncle, who is a huge DC animated TV show fan, took me, sat me down, and we got Taco Bell for 3 days straight and watched all these episodes.
That's a good man.
I'm just like, this show is... I've never been, like, the biggest animated TV show fan, if you guys haven't noticed from this. But, like, I really love the show. I felt like Batman the Animated TV show is really what got a lot of people into loving Batman, based off the voice acting, the characters. The animation itself is really unique for the time it came out, because I think it came out in, like, the late 90s. And there was just so many great things. Like you said, it introduced Harley Quinn, one of the best, like, superhero. I guess you can call her an anti-villain now, or anti-hero, depending on which way you want to point it. But the show, I think the show had a good run too. I don't think that they cut it short in the season, but I also felt like they ended it when they felt like it needed to end it and not overextend it like most TV shows do. And they didn't kill it off. They're like, we want the show to end on our terms. I don't remember how the show actually did end, but I remember going into the next, like, Batman show, Batman Beyond, after that. Really, I'm just like, this is great. So Batman, the animated series, is a huge thing in my childhood. I've been meaning to go back on, like, DC Universe and, like, rewatching it. But with this whole quarantine going on, I've got so many other things to watch. But Batman the Animated Series is definitely top-notch, one of the best of all time.
Yeah, and I loved, like, as you said, the animated style was unique because to me it felt like it, as you said, got me into Batman. It solidified what Batman should be because it was very, like, the setting was very noir. Like, I think we can all remember, like, in the beginning, you know, the credits where, like, they had the big blimps and everything. And, certainly Kevin Conroy was, like, the voice of Batman. Mark Hamill was the voice of the Joker. I mean, it was so fantastic. It really just introduced me. And I think that, there is a little bit of me that every time I see a live-action Batman, I kind of, like, go back and think, does this live up to who I always thought Batman was, say, in the animated series. But, Brittany, this was definitely a staple of all of our childhoods. How was it for you?
Man, I was going to say what was so good about that was even there was an episode where isn't it like Ivy's trying to convince Harley Quinn that, like, the Joker's no good for her, and at the end Harley still goes back to the Joker. And it was like, it is, like, interesting what they touched on because a lot of the episodes were just, like, fun and, you know, the Joker's just goofy. He looks like Spy versus Spy. Remember that? Like, before he changed the look. Yeah.
Yes.
And it was always so goofy, but it was also so scary and dark at the same time. There was something I was going to touch on. It was about, so that's the Joker, about Batman. I got really excited because I've been playing Darksiders, the first one, and there's this person called the Watcher, and he's voiced by Mark Hamill, and he uses his Joker voice for this character, and the whole time he gives me advice, I go, thank you, Mark Hamill, thank you, Joker, and it makes me so happy, but I was obsessed with the show growing up. We used to always watch it at my grandparents'. I would watch it at Mama Brenda's, and she would have the pool. So what would happen was I would go swimming and instantly come inside. I'm like, Batman's on, and she's like, I've lost her. This is she's gone. But I don't know.
I was going to say that even, like, in Batman the Animated Series, like, I love the explanation for Robin. Like, it even felt natural in a way. And I also, you know what I loved in Batman the Animated Series? When they touched upon, like, Harvey Dent and Poison Ivy having, like, a relationship. And I always wanted to see that elsewhere. And we've never really gotten it again. And I was just so sad about that because I was like, they did it so well in the animated show. But I will say really quick, and I think I've talked about this before, certainly to you, Brittany, but Ryan, if you have the DC Universe app, I don't know if you've seen it, but I really do suggest watching the Harley Quinn
show.
Yeah, have you watched it?
I watched half the first season. It's really good, but for me, it's like it's so much. It's just like what the fuck?
It's a lot.
It's a lot for me personally, which is why I had to take a break from it. It's a good show, and when I first watched it, I did not realize it was going to be like that, so it completely took me off guard. I'm like, what the fuck?
With all
the first scene was her and the Joker on the boat. I'm just like, there's no way that I did not realize the show was going to be like this. But then after like a few episodes, I'm just like, yeah, I'm just like the thing is, it's like a lot at the same time, which is why I kind of had to take a break. And I was really shocked to hear how fast season 2 is coming out. I'm like, what?
Yeah, it's definitely coming out soon. I believe this month.
It already came out.
My whole point.
It
did?
Friday.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. The first episode. I only bring that show up because I feel like for people who are fans of Batman the Animated Series, that Harley Quinn is like kind of like a more adult version of that. Like it has touches
Very more
of it.
adult version.
Yeah, absolutely. But I also bring that up because, we all grew up, obviously, Mark Hamill voicing Joker, and I think Alan Tudyk is a really good, secondary, voice of the Joker in Harley Quinn. Like, when he talks and he laughs, it's obviously different, but you're still there sitting there saying that, oh, okay, this has, the spirit of Mark Hamill in it. And that's why I think it's really good. But, yeah, Batman the Animated Series, whew, there is, no better for me. I love that shit. And it was, one of the only things, not one of the only things, but, one of the reasons why I then wanted to watch the CW crossover, because I was like, oh my God, they're having the voice of Batman, in a live action capacity. What?
Well, what?
I just thought that was...
And they fucked it up.
Well, I mean, it's the CW. I gave up on watching the Arrowverse a long time ago.
Okay,
do you
trying to
still
get
watch
to that
it, right?
point. So I religiously watched it up until Crisis, but right now with me personally, Supergirl and Batwoman, dude, the shows are just not there for me. I still love The Flash. That's the one I still religiously watch, but none of the other shows since Arrow has ended have really been captivating. I feel like the CW nowadays is just relying on messages to the public to convey their TV shows now, and it's just getting really annoying. With Batwoman, I don't like the show. The show is so. I have nothing against comedians and stuff like that, but they shove it down your throat she's gay within the first 3-4 episodes. She has 3 or 4 different legitimate girlfriends, and then they make a whole big thing in the TV show about Batwoman being gay. Bro, we're in 2020. Why should this be a big title thing? Just so I don't know. I just think the shows are very SJW nowadays, except for The Flash and the Arrow. But that show's ended, so I just stick to The Flash because it's more neutral, and because I don't know, the shows just aren't well produced anymore. And don't even get me started with Stargirl. That shit has me super pissed. Because, Tia, I don't know if you remember this, or Brittany, I don't know if you have DC Universe, but when DC Universe was first announced, Stargirl was supposed to be an original series released last summer, and now they decide to put it on DC Universe a day before they stream it on the CW, which is highly absurd because DC Universe has fucking nothing on it. It has Titans and Harley Quinn. Swamp Thing got canceled, and now
Doom Patrol.
Stargirl is on. But Doom Patrol is going to go to HBO Max now, from what I heard.
It is?
Yeah, I heard the second season. I heard the second season is going to release when HBO Max was. That's what I've been hearing. I don't know if it's true, but I definitely know Doom Patrol is going to be on HBO Max and go away from DC Universe.
I thought I had heard that they were going to be released on both. To me, I feel like DC Universe is going to be slowly faded away, right? Because HBO Max
DC Universe is awful.
Well, but I think because HBO Max is pretty much taking over the Warner Brothers library, and I think I had heard that they're putting Doom Patrol both on DC Universe and HBO Max, and the fact that Stargirl is going to be on both DC Universe and CW, I think that they're slowly getting rid of DC Universe because it just didn't make any sense to even have something like DC Universe, especially if you're going to come out with HBO Max. But I did want to say really quickly before we move on, because I don't pay attention to the CW shows really at all, but my mom would agree with you that she only watches The Flash. She's like, The Flash is the only one that's still good. She was like, all the others are just and every time they post a clip of Supergirl, the CGI is so laughable. It's if you can't
it's really bad,
properly,
yeah.
If you can't properly make a show like this, then don't make it at all because it looks like it's produced by the Sci-Fi Channel.
Oh, shots fired.
No, it's really bad, Brittany.
No, I completely agree.
On Twitter. Yeah, it's so bad.
It's weird too because the Flash has really good CGI for the for like what its budget is, which makes absolutely no sense. The other show that has like decently good CGI is Black Lightning, which I'm not the biggest fan of, but it's way better than fucking Batwoman. But like, I feel like all their shows are just trying to say these bigger than life. No, I wouldn't say bigger than life, but like their shows are just revolving around these things that people have hated, like the African American community for Black Lightning, the women have rights community, let's just say for for Supergirl, and then the LGBT community for Batwoman. I just feel like it didn't need to happen. It's like, good, make a strong and powerful female character. I want that, but don't rub it down our throats. Like, I don't know. I think it's too much nowadays. At first it was fun, but like every single show they make is just absurdly like, why do you have to rub this down my throat? Because I don't know the Batwoman character personally. I think she's LGBTQ in the comics.
She is.
I'm not too sure. She is, right?
Yeah, she is gay in the comics.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, that's why I've kind of fallen off with the shows. The Flash is the only one. The Flash and Arrow were the ones that I couldn't go without watching. But now Arrow's done, and then the Flash and all the other shows are being like screwed up because of the whole virus going around. So I don't even know if I want to catch up on them, though.
Yeah, it is sad. Like, I definitely loved The Flash when it first came out, but it's just gotten, like, too much. Like, the shows are too campy. I feel like they don't really rely on, like, say, good writing anymore. And because they're so long, there's so many fillers that, like, you know, it just doesn't feel, like, fine-tuned. But, yeah, so that's all I just wanted to touch upon. But we have about, like, 13 minutes left, so let's get to the number one on our top 10 animated shows. I'm going to go through them really quick before I go to you, Brittany. So we have Trigun, Yu-Gi-Oh!, Bob's Burgers, Steven's Universe, Futurama, DBZ, Avatar: The Last Airbender, Pokemon, Batman the Animated Series, and Brittany, what do you got for our number one?
You'll laugh, but I'm going to go with SpongeBob. I really love SpongeBob.
Sorry,
I mean, it was like...
Goodbye.
It was the biggest animated show, I think. It was like the one that like lasted the longest from like the 90s into the 2000s. You know what, Brittany, go for it. Let's hear it. Come on. Wait, before you go on, it is the funniest thing my dad will always say. He's like, I don't understand how a show about a sponge, and I'm like, you don't get it, man. You don't get it.
You don't get it. You're not hip with the crowd, man. You're not woke. I got to thinking about this because I was thinking about, I made a SpongeBob reference the other day, like how many times I have to teach you this lesson, old man. Like, there's so many good quotes in it, and there was such those hidden tidbits of adult content that you wouldn't have get, like when they go on a panty raid, and you go, because as a kid I did not know what that was, but you think about them breaking and entering a home to steal someone's underwear, especially a woman, you'd be like, wait a second, whoa, hey, or like the swinging slasher. But I got to thinking about this the other day because one of the guys I work with, he said, I made a reference to SpongeBob, and he said, oh, I've never seen SpongeBob. And I said, why? He said, my parents wouldn't let me watch it. They thought I was going to turn out stupid, but I turned out stupid anyways.
I'll see you all in therapy.
I'll see you all in therapy. Well, and I didn't care much for newer SpongeBob, but older SpongeBob was so good. I like what everybody says, like, when you grow up and you realize that you're Squidward.
Yeah, like, you think, like, you're like, Squidward's so miserable. It's like, oh, wait, no, that's me now.
You have to think about, imagine if you lived next to SpongeBob and you had to listen to the little fucker, like, blow big old bubbles at each other, him and Patrick just blowing those bubbles, and it's like little whispers and stuff. Like, it was just a ridiculous show. I loved Sandy. I loved everybody in there. Mr. Krabs, who reminds me of Tom Nook from Animal Crossing. He's just a green I don't know. I just always had such a good time watching the show, and with it ending, and didn't the creator die recently too, which is really sad.
Like
it's just
year.
like, yeah,
he was really young too. He was like 40-something years old.
Jeez, I didn't realize he was so young. But it's like between that, you know, and I'll go ahead and throw in my honorable mention along with that too, really quick, is it makes me think of like, remember Danny Phantom and like all and like Fairly Odd Parents, all those shows coming on together was always such a good time, and I loved it.
SpongeBob had such good okay, I'm sorry. The freaking episode where they put on the halftime show, like, that song slaps, okay? It's the one where they meet Sandy and they're trying to, like, breathe air and they're like, pinky up, or Patrick and SpongeBob becoming, like, a same-sex parenting couple, and like them trying to fight over who like changes the diapers, and it's like, I changed one, and they're like, one, and it's like you see all the massive like diapers, and it's like, I love
over and over again, yes.
And then you had like, I always wanted to know what I always wanted a Krabby Patty, and there's or it's like, I ripped my pants.
Oh my God, that song slapped too. Okay.
Yeah, no, like, I'm sorry, like, there's something so like amusing about SpongeBob, and also kind of like, I don't know, like, I loved some of the episodes, like Squidward being so miserable, but then like him actually feeling bad for SpongeBob, like when SpongeBob's like, here, I made you this sweater, it's made out of my tears.
Oh my gosh.
Like, I don't know, there was some like good shit in that show. I don't know, the chocolate one. Chocolate! I can go on, like,
chocolate? I hate chocolate.
I'm sorry, I could go on. Like, SpongeBob was entertaining as hell. Like, and you're right. We all grow up and we end up being Squidward.
Especially Tia. I'm still SpongeBob, annoying the shit out of her.
Yeah, that's exactly what you are. You're SpongeBob. But do we still have Ryan here? Because he said that he was going to hop off on that.
No,
Ryan,
I'm just mad. I'm just mad.
Come on, Ryan. You love SpongeBob. You know it.
I hate SpongeBob. Once they all got fucking drunk on Sundays,
you soulless creature.
I was done. Bro, do you know how much I'm the Goofy Goober replays in my head all the time? All the time,
Goofy Goober, yeah.
No, we're not singing it. I'm the Goofy Goober, yeah. No! Just no! Stop!
No.
SpongeBob and Patrick literally get drunk off of ice cream sundaes in their own movie. I don't want to live right now. SpongeBob is awful. The voice actor is annoying. I can't, dude. SpongeBob is one of the worst shows ever made.
You take that back. You freaking mixer.
I love
Twitcher.
It's a streamer, not a Twitcher.
Someone else called you a
no,
Twitcher.
No, you're a Twitcher, bro.
Twitcher.
Well, you're a bitch.
Bro, I'm so mad. I'm so mad.
But,
he is like nervous laughing.
No, I loved it. You're a Twitcher. But I do love SpongeBob. I'm sorry. That shit brings up so many good memories. Yeah, I ain't even mad. But while we have a little bit of time left, let's go through some honorable mentions. I feel like I have so many. Like, all of the freaking 90s cartoon shows, like Angry Beavers, Doug, Rocko's Modern Life, Sailor Moon, freaking Doug, Ren and Stimpy, like South Park, you know, Family Guy. Like, there's so many. Like, the 90s had so many freaking, like, amazing shit. But, regular show, Real Monsters, freaking, I love G Gundam as an anime. Cyborg 009. And I'm sorry, I'm going to end off my honorable mentions with Looney Tunes because that's just classic.
Oh, I love Looney Tunes.
I grew up on Looney Tunes. But, Ryan, do you have any honorable mentions you want to throw out there?
I'm trying to think right now. Damn. This goes to show that I didn't watch too many cartoons growing up. Goddamn. I don't know, to be honest. I don't really have any.
This is why he's a sad person. He never had any good cartoons growing up.
Oh, Brittany,
okay,
Rocket Power.
Rocket Power! Cowboy Bebop!
Cowboy Bebop. I said Cat Dog. I love all those, 90s shows.
Wait, your favorite anime, Tia, the Star one. The Star one. The one you can't find the DVD set of.
Which one?
There was an anime you loved. It had spaceships and stuff. And it was called Star something. And you said you could never find the DVDs.
Shit, now. Oh, I can't remember that. It's going to freaking bother me.
Evangeline, Scried, Full Metal Alchemist.
Outlaw Star? Because I have the DVD
Outlaw
set
Star.
for that. No, I have the DVD set for Outlaw Star, which is good. And I have G Gundam. No, you know what I can never find?
Cyborg 009?
Yeah, they dubbed the whole show, but they only released, the first, 10 episodes of the dub on DVD, and then they never put it on DVD. They have the Japanese versions, but, I grew up with, the dubs, so I'm, used to those. And it's I know they dubbed it. I've watched the whole freaking thing on Toonami, but, and also Zoids. But, oh, shit, I didn't see the time. Let's, guys, we had a fantastic time here. We only got about 3 minutes left, so let's quickly promote our shit. Ryan, what do we got coming up that we should look out for?
All right, since I haven't been on the show in a while, I got a lot of shit to talk about real quick. You guys can always follow me on Twitter, Just Ryan again. You guys can go check my podcast out on iTunes, the Geek Fix podcast for everything geeky and shit. I have a Patreon that's linked, and I also got a YouTube channel named the Geek Fix YouTube channel. So everyone go check that out. I just posted a new video last night, every season of The Office ranked. So if you guys like The Office and want to see what I think, go out and check it.
You definitely got to send me that, Ryan, because I want to check that out. But make sure you guys go and find Ryan on all of his platforms and just enjoy a little bit of Ryan. Brittany, as the resident Twitcher, why don't you promote your
you whore. Okay, you can always find me at twitch.tv/ittybitty_Brit. We've been playing through Darksiders. We are finishing up Shadow of the Colossus, but we are playing Darksiders tonight. And if you want to catch me when I'm doing my Perler beat art, we do have song requests turned on, so you can make me listen to your music. But if one more fucking person plays Baby Shark, I'm going to literally murder someone. You can find me at Twitter at ittybitty_Brit0, and you can always find me on this podcast, too.
I'm going to go on and play some Megadeth one day for you. But yes, everyone, make sure that you check out Brittany and Ryan's stuff. And then, of course, you check me out on Twitter and Instagram, Tia Fabi. I put out lots of content. I'm putting out videos called Tea Time with Tia for Geek Vibes Nation on our YouTube channel. And you can find Geek Vibes Nation on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Vero, YouTube, and everywhere and anywhere in between. So please make sure to like, subscribe, and all that jazz, and let us know what were some of your favorite anime shows growing up. Thank you, Ryan, and thank you, Brittany, for joining. Hope you have a great day.
Peace.
See you later, taters.